How well do you think you know Southeast Asia? Discover the captivating Philippines, an archipelago of over 7,641 islands, brimming with stunning natural beauty, vibrant culture, and unparalleled hospitality that draws adventurers from around the globe. Here, funerals can transform into lively gambling gatherings filled with community spirit. Christmas festivities kick off as early as September, with twinkling lights and joyful songs echoing through the streets, and everyday people bear endearing names like Pepsi or Honey that reflect a playful and affectionate society. Today, I'll guide you through a series of unique, surprising, yet absolutely true facts about the Philippines, a country that feels so familiar at first glance, yet constantly defies expectations in the most delightful and unexpected ways, offering travelers a blend of tradition and modernity that's perfect for exploration in 2025. You wouldn't guess that Filipino funerals blend heartfelt celebration and casual gambling, turning moments of sorrow into opportunities for unity. The first fact might completely reshape your perception of the most solemn tradition anywhere, a funeral in the Philippines, where grief is shared collectively in ways that honor life as much as death. Globally, funerals are often quiet, respectful affairs, where people gather to mourn their loved ones in somber silence. But in the Philippines, funerals are truly distinctive and frequently surprise foreigners with their lively atmosphere. These ceremonies can last from 3 days to a full week, providing ample time for reflection and connection. It's not only a time to honor the deceased, but also an occasion for friends, neighbors, and family to gather, share delicious home-cooked meals, converse about cherished memories, and sometimes even play cards right beside the coffin, keeping the vibe light and supportive. The atmosphere is often filled with laughter, engaging conversations, and even children playing nearby, adding a touch of innocence and joy to the proceedings. While this may seem unusual or even shocking to outsiders unfamiliar with the customs, for Filipinos, it's a profound cultural expression of unity and community support that strengthens bonds during tough times. 2 main reasons explain this unique tradition that has evolved over generations. First, local beliefs hold that family and friends must stay awake by the coffin overnight to protect the body from evil spirits, called aswang, mythical creatures that might disturb or steal the soul of the deceased, adding a layer of folklore to the ritual. Playing cards helps everyone stay awake and alert through the long nights. Second, any money won from these games often helps cover funeral costs, reflecting a strong spirit of solidarity and mutual aid among the attendees. This blend of celebration and gambling has become a unique cultural custom that many visitors find both surprising and perplexing, yet deeply touching. For Filipinos, it's a heartfelt way for the community to share grief and support each other through loss, embodying the resilient and communal spirit of the nation. In a country where funerals feel like lively gatherings and people stay up playing cards to watch over the deceased, it's unsurprising that in the heart of bustling Manila, some residents live alongside the dead in innovative ways born out of necessity. The North Cemetery is one of the Philippines' most unusual places, blending history with everyday life in a fascinating manner. It is not only a burial ground, but also home to thousands of people who have created a vibrant community within its walls. The reason is simple: poverty amid rapid urbanization. With soaring property prices in Manila, many families cannot afford to rent or buy homes in the crowded city. So, out of necessity, they find shelter in the cemetery, which offers roofs, open space, and a surprisingly quiet environment away from the urban chaos. Temporary shelters gradually become permanent homes, showcasing human adaptability. Over time, people build brick houses atop graves or between pathways, turning the space into a living neighborhood. Children play on tombstones with carefree energy, adults cook beside crypts using simple stoves, and some open small shops or earn a living by maintaining graves for visitors. A fully functioning community has formed within the cemetery, complete with its own social dynamics and daily routines. While life here is normal for residents who have adapted remarkably, for outsiders, the scene feels surreal and thought-provoking. Some old graves have collapsed, exposing human bones that serve as stark reminders of mortality. Skulls and arm bones are sometimes visible in house corners or near makeshift toilets, blending the past with the present in eerie ways. At night, the atmosphere becomes colder and more eerie, surrounded by the silence of neighbors who never speak. Yet this resilience highlights the Filipino spirit of making the best out of challenging circumstances. Walking through the streets or narrow alleys of the Philippines, you'll quickly notice the abundance of dogs roaming freely, adding a charming, if unexpected, element to daily life. These stray dogs roam freely, alone or in small groups, wandering the streets without leashes or muzzles, embodying a sense of freedom that's rare in many places. Unlike in the United States or Europe, where dog ownership laws are strict and enforced rigorously, most dogs here belong to families, but are allowed to roam freely during the day. Many strays belong to no one, yet they integrate seamlessly into the urban landscape. Remarkably, most of these dogs are gentle, rarely barking at strangers or acting aggressively, which surprises many visitors. They coexist peacefully with people, often becoming unofficial community members. You'll often see them lying on sidewalks in the shade to escape the tropical heat, resting in quiet corners, or calmly following children without causing any trouble, perhaps hoping for a scrap of food. Filipinos are accustomed to sharing public spaces with dogs, viewing it as a normal part of daily life that adds warmth to their communities. For visitors from countries where dogs are tightly controlled and trained primarily for protection, seeing these free, relaxed dogs among people is a truly surprising and endearing sight that underscores the laid-back Philippine lifestyle. Despite the common sight of friendly stray dogs that endear themselves to locals and tourists alike, some foreigners are shocked to learn that in certain remote parts of the Philippines, dog consumption persists during traditional festivals, though it's increasingly rare and controversial in 2025. Although most Filipinos today avoid dog meat and national laws prohibit killing dogs for food, with enforcement improving due to animal welfare campaigns, some indigenous communities in northern regions like Benguet and Cordillera still maintain dog sacrifice rituals for religious ceremonies, weddings or funerals as part of their ancestral heritage. In their beliefs, dogs are not merely pets but offerings to ancestors or symbols of good fortune carrying deep spiritual significance. These ceremonies are private, held within communities to preserve traditions, but images sometimes surface online, sparking strong reactions from animal rights groups and tourists who advocate for change. For them, dogs are loyal companions, making the practice seem cruel and outdated. For locals, it's a sacred tradition rooted in cultural and spiritual practices that connect them to their history. Local authorities often avoid interference, recognizing these areas as distinct cultural zones, but with growing awareness and international pressure, such practices are declining. If you're a man visiting the Philippines for the first time, you might be pleasantly surprised by the empowered role of women, which differs markedly from stereotypes in other parts of Asia and highlights gender progress. In the Philippines, women are often the true pillars of the family, managing finances and decision-making with confidence and skill. Many women handle money, spending, child-rearing, and even major decisions like buying a house, car, or choosing schools for the children, demonstrating their central role in household stability. Men often work outside, but hand their salaries to their wives without hesitation. This stems from trust, not obligation, built on mutual respect. Many Filipinos believe women are more prudent and long-term thinkers in household matters, a view that's supported by their practical contributions. Beyond family, Filipino women outnumber men in university enrollment, pursuing higher education with determination, and many run successful businesses or hold key management roles in companies, more than in neighboring countries where gender gaps persist. The Philippines has had influential female presidents who have shaped the nation's history, and popular culture celebrates strong, decisive women in television, dramas, pop music, and traditional family life, inspiring generations. If you stroll through vibrant Philippine cities at noon under the warm sun, you'll see people napping publicly, which might seem inappropriate elsewhere but is a practical adaptation to the tropical climate. From jeepney drivers taking a quick break between routes and construction workers resting in the shade, to office staff and students catching some shut-eye, people comfortably rest on park benches, sidewalks, or even inside vehicles during the day without any shame or judgment. Napping is seen as essential to recharge energy, especially in hot climates with long working hours that demand endurance. Many offices even allow employees to doze at their desks during lunch breaks, recognizing its benefits for productivity. For those who start work early or have night shifts, a short nap of 15 to 20 minutes can be the only way to stay alert and perform well throughout the day. To fully embrace local life and experience the relaxed pace, don't hesitate to try a quick nap right in the city. This could be one of your most memorable and refreshing experiences while exploring the Philippines. After a public nap that leaves you rejuvenated, you might need to use the restroom, but be aware this can be one of the mild shocks many travelers face when visiting the Philippines, adding to the adventure of cultural immersion. In many public restrooms, simple bars, and even some big restaurants, toilet paper is often not provided as standard. Instead, you usually find a plastic bucket and a dipper for washing with water, called a tabo, which is the traditional and hygienic method preferred by locals. Here, Filipinos mainly use water for personal cleaning instead of paper, a practice that's eco-friendly and common in tropical regions. So, bringing your own toilet paper is a survival skill if you want to avoid awkward situations, though tissues are widely available. But the surprises don't stop there. Even the names for everyday items in the Philippines can cause funny misunderstandings for foreigners, leading to light-hearted moments. Here, tissue is a general term for tissue paper, toilet paper, or napkins used at meals. On the other hand, napkin is understood as a feminine hygiene product, so mix-ups happen. If you walk into a restaurant and ask, "Can I have a napkin?" don't be surprised if the staff hesitate before asking you again with confusion. It's all part of the charm. The advice is to just ask for tissue paper to avoid these funny and awkward encounters that become great stories to share. A unique thing in the Philippines is you can use the restroom at a cafe, fast food place, or supermarket without buying anything or asking first, reflecting the helpful nature of the people. Unlike many other countries, where you must ask for a code, get a key, or prove you made a purchase to access facilities, restrooms here are usually open to anyone in need, promoting a sense of community. Staff won't question or cause trouble for you. In fact, they often happily point you in the right direction if you are urgently looking for a restroom, with a smile. For Filipinos, the simple goal is to help others in everyday situations. Restrooms are not meant to be only for paying customers, but for public convenience. However, we recommend you use this only when really necessary or in urgent situations to respect the businesses. And if you are a tourist and happen to use a store's restroom, please buy a bottle of water or a snack afterward. It's not required, but very appreciated as a gesture of thanks. If you ask which country loves karaoke the most, the Philippines definitely tops the list, with its passion for singing woven into the fabric of social life. Karaoke is everywhere, from lively bars and restaurants to cozy neighborhoods, homes, and even impromptu setups on sidewalks under the stars. Filipinos can sing karaoke on any occasion. Birthdays, family gatherings, festivals, or just to relax after a long workday, turning ordinary moments into musical celebrations. What's special here is everyone confidently holds the mic, no matter how well they sing, fostering inclusivity and fun. Kids, adults, and even elders have their favorite songs and mostly happily sing when invited or even uninvited, creating bonds through shared melodies. Karaoke has become an essential part of community life, bringing music and laughter from morning to night. And in 2025, it's even featured in cultural festivals worldwide. But karaoke in the Philippines is not always just fun and entertainment. There have been times when Frank Sinatra's iconic song, My Way, was banned or limited in some karaoke spots because of controversies and even violence linked to passionate performances. This song is very popular, so everyone wants to try it, but when someone sings badly or too loudly, it can sometimes lead to serious arguments among enthusiastic crowds. Because of that, some places removed My Way from their playlists to avoid any potential conflicts, though such incidents are rare today. Although dramatic tales like these have become part of the legend of karaoke in the Philippines, a culture that is not only lively and joyful but also surprisingly passionate, it continues to thrive as a beloved pastime. Filipinos don't just express themselves through singing, they also communicate with each other by honking on the busy roads. If this is your first time walking on the streets of the Philippines, especially in big cities like Manila or Cebu, you will quickly notice the almost constant honking that fills the air. But don't get angry right away for locals. Honking is not about pressure or anger, but a friendly way to navigate traffic. On the contrary, it is a widely accepted form of communication and sometimes even more effective than words in the chaotic flow. Drivers use honks to ask for way, say thank you, signal someone to slow down, or simply greet each other with familiarity. On narrow roads, in heavy traffic areas, or at busy intersections, honking often replaces turn signals as a way to let others know you are coming, ensuring safety. Some drivers even develop their own honk codes. 2 short honks mean thank you, 1 long honk means please let me pass. And if you hear a rhythmic honk, it might just be friendly teasing between drivers who know each other, adding personality to commutes. In the Philippines, honking is not noise but a conversation on wheels that keeps the traffic moving smoothly. In the noisy traffic world of the Philippines, with all kinds of honking signals, the easiest place to recognize on the main streets is the iconic jeepney, the country's most famous public transport and a beloved cultural symbol that's evolving in 2025 with eco-friendly models. Originally converted from abandoned US military jeeps after World War II, jeepneys were refurbished by Filipinos into passenger vehicles with long bodies, 2 long benches, and eye-catching multicolored designs covered with bright paint, decorative lights, and bold patterns that tell stories. Each jeepney is a moving work of art, personalized by its owner. Millions of Filipinos ride jeepneys every day to school, to work, to the market, or just to visit friends, making them integral to daily life. This transport is cheap, operates almost around the clock, and you can get on or off anywhere along the route just by raising your hand, offering flexibility. Each Jeep reflects the driver's personality and popular culture elements, from funny slogans and religious symbols to superheroes and band posters, showcasing creativity. Even more fascinating is what happens when a Jeep retires. Instead of being dismantled right away, old vehicles are often moved to large storage lots, affectionately called the Rainbow Graveyard, where rusted but brightly painted jeepneys become popular photo spots for young people and inspiration for street artists capturing urban history. For many, jeepneys are not just transportation, they are cultural symbols of urban life in the Philippines, resilient and colourful. Filipino street food is famous for its variety, creativity, and many dishes that can confuse yet delight foreign visitors with bold flavours. One of the most notorious specialties is balut, a fertilized duck egg with a partially developed embryo, complete with small feathers and a beak, usually eaten with salt, pepper, and herbs for a protein-packed snack. Just opening it and seeing the tiny duck inside is enough to make some Western visitors run the other way, but it's a thrilling challenge. But for Filipinos, balut is a beloved delicacy and often considered an important ritual for anyone who wants to truly experience local culture and street eats. Another dish that often causes hesitation is Betamax, congealed animal blood cut into rectangular blocks, skewered and grilled over charcoal for a smoky taste. Then there is isor, cleaned and well-seasoned chicken or pork intestines grilled until crispy. This is a popular street snack, but can be quite adventurous for first-timers. If you ask which country loves karaoke the most, the Philippines definitely tops the list, with its passion for singing woven into the fabric of social life. Karaoke is everywhere, from lively bars and restaurants to cozy neighborhoods, homes, and even impromptu setups on sidewalks under the stars. Filipinos can sing karaoke on any occasion: birthdays, family gatherings, festivals, or just to relax after a long work day, turning ordinary moments into musical celebrations. But Filipino street food is not only shocking in appearance. If you want something lighter, you can try taho, soft tofu with sweet syrup and tapioca pearls for a comforting treat, or banana Q, caramelized fried bananas on a stick that's sweet and satisfying, quail eggs covered in curry powder and fried crispy, also a favorite, especially among students for quick energy. There are also fish balls fried on the spot and dipped in sweet or spicy sauce, adding crunch. And the iconic Halo Halo, a cold shaved ice dessert topped with many kinds of sweets like fruits and beans, perfect for hot summer days to cool down. This variety makes Filipino street food not only culturally rich, but also an exciting and attractive adventure for anyone curious about Asian cuisine, with festivals in 2025 celebrating it globally. After trying all kinds of street food, from strange to sweet, you will quickly notice one thing always the same in every Filipino meal. Rice is always present, the staple that ties everything together. Whether it is breakfast, lunch, dinner, a party, or just a snack, there is almost always a hot plate of white rice on the table, steaming and inviting. Some breakfast menus even include rice with sausage, rice with fried egg, or rice with canned fish for a hearty start. Even at fast food chains like Jollibee or McDonald's, fried chicken is often served with rice instead of French fries, adapting global favorites locally. And the rice portions are usually much larger than what most Westerners typically eat, with some people enjoying 3 or 4 bowls in one meal without batting an eye. It can be combined with grilled meat, fried chicken, dried fish, sausage, or even hot dogs for versatile dishes. Filipinos have a special name for any dish served with rice. It is called ulam, emphasizing its importance. In many families, a meal without rice is incomplete, no matter how many other dishes there are on the table. Some even eat rice with noodles or bread, creating carb-heavy combinations. For many foreigners, especially those from Western countries where starch usually comes from potatoes, bread, or salad, this can be one of the most surprising eating habits in the Philippines, highlighting the central role of rice in nutrition and culture. And if rice is considered the heart of every Filipino meal, then Pagpag is probably the most extreme example of how far people will go to have a full plate, even if it means picking food from the trash in resourceful ways. Pagpag is leftover food that restaurants, fast food chains or households throw away, usually fried chicken, grilled meat, rice or vegetables salvaged creatively. These leftovers are collected, washed in cold water, reseasoned with spices, and fried again before being sold at very low prices to those in need, turning waste into sustenance. The word pagpag in Filipino means to dust off, symbolizing dust being brushed off leftover food before bringing it back to the table, a term that's both practical and poignant. In some neighborhoods across the Philippines, the sight of people lining up to buy hot pagpag meals is not uncommon, especially in urban poor areas. At only about 40 pesos or less than 70 cents in US dollars, it is even cheaper than a pack of instant noodles, making it accessible. For those who earn only $1 or $2 a day, this may be the only way to have a decent meal amid economic challenges. The Philippine government has warned many times about the health risks of eating pagpag, such as contamination, but the need remains, because for many living in poverty, hunger is more dangerous than bacteria, underscoring social issues. Located in southern Philippines, Davao City was known not only for its peace and cleanliness, but also for something really unusual that showcased innovative governance. At one point, people there set their clocks 30 minutes ahead of the rest of the country to increase productivity, a bold experiment. In the 1992nd, Davao's local government introduced what they called Davao Time, a self-declared time zone running 30 minutes ahead of the national standard to boost efficiency. The goal was simple: to encourage people to start the workday earlier, arrive on time, and finish earlier to have more time for family and leisure. Government agencies, schools, and even local television stations all followed this time adjustment, creating a unique rhythm. Although it has never been officially recognized by law, it became part of the city's daily life for many years, with many schools, offices and public services operating on Davao time during that period. Eventually, the city returned to the country's standard time zone to avoid confusion when dealing with other regions. But the story of a big city that was ahead of its time is still remembered today as a creative and unique Filipino approach to local culture and productivity, inspiring modern initiatives. If you came to the Philippines between 2010 and 2018, you probably saw some alarming sights like beaches covered with plastic bags, canals clogged with used shampoo packets, and dead fish caught in instant coffee wrappers. But efforts have intensified by 2025. This beautiful island nation was once openly called the plastic waste capital of Southeast Asia due to high consumption. After trying all kinds of street food, from strange to sweet, you will quickly notice one thing always the same in every Filipino meal. Rice is always present, the staple that ties everything together. Whether it is breakfast, lunch, dinner, a party, or just a snack, there is almost always a hot plate of white rice on the table, steaming and inviting. Some breakfast menus even include rice with sausage, rice with fried egg, or rice with canned fish for a hearty start. These packets are rarely recycled or collected properly. Instead, they float through canals, drift with the water, and end up in the ocean, harming marine life. Even more surprisingly, change started from within the community without waiting for big government programs. Many schools and youth groups used eco-bricks made from waste to build walls, while weekend cleanup campaigns turned used plastic bags into useful items like chairs. In some supermarkets, shoppers get discounts when they bring reusable bags, and every Monday is a plastic-free day to promote habits. Cities like San Fernando and Baguio even passed laws banning single-use plastic bags, encouraging suppliers to switch to banana leaves, paper wraps, or biodegradable packaging that's sustainable. Thanks to these grassroots and policy efforts, including the National Plastic Action Partnership aiming for zero plastic waste by 2030, many areas once known as plastic pollution hotspots are now cleaner and greener, surprising and delighting visitors who return to see the positive transformation in 2025. In the Philippines, it is easy to find security guards standing outside supermarkets, convenience stores, banks, gas stations, and even fast food restaurants like Jollibee, contributing to a sense of safety. Most of them carry pistols or even rifles, which might seem intimidating at first. For foreigners, especially those from countries with strict gun control, this can be quite scary or uncomfortable initially, but it's a common sight. Despite their armed appearance, security forces in the Philippines are usually very friendly and approachable. They greet customers with warm smiles, open doors courteously, and happily give directions when asked, making interactions pleasant. In many places, they are seen as part of the overall service experience, tasked with maintaining order rather than threatening anyone, blending protection with hospitality. The presence of armed security is mostly because many businesses operate 24/7 and are located in busy areas, so visible security is a practical measure to deter issues. However, actual use of force is extremely rare. Most situations are handled calmly, and both guards and the public usually rely on polite conversation and respectful interaction to solve problems, reflecting the courteous culture. In many Western countries, wearing school uniforms is often optional, and students are free to choose what to wear to class, allowing personal expression. Even in some disciplined Asian countries like Japan, South Korea, or China, uniforms are usually only required until the end of high school. But in the Philippines, uniforms are not just for young students. They are worn throughout college and are seen as a core part of both school culture and daily life, promoting unity. The root cause of the problem came from a unique consumption habit in the Philippines, where almost every product is sold in small single-use packets. From cooking oil, soy sauce, toothpaste, to shampoo, soap, and instant coffee. Everything is packed in small plastic sachets for affordability. With low average income, many people prefer to buy just enough for the day, leading to millions of plastic bags torn and discarded every day, polluting environments. The reason behind this tradition is both practical and cultural. Uniforms encourage discipline, nurture community awareness, and help people easily recognize each other in diverse settings. In schools, they reduce obvious differences between rich and poor students and promote teamwork and equality among peers. For tourists or foreigners living in the Philippines, the sight of people of all ages and jobs wearing uniforms often leaves a strong impression because it shows how deeply this custom is rooted in Filipino society, emphasizing collective identity. In contrast to the uniform rule that promotes order, Filipinos have a much more playful and natural approach to naming that adds whimsy to interactions. Here, it is not unusual to meet a bank employee named Pepsi, a driver named Boy, or a female colleague named Baby or Girly, names that spark curiosity. And these names that sound like jokes are often not just nicknames. They can be a person's official name on legal documents, used at work, on contracts, and even in election campaigns, fully integrated into life. This creative naming tradition comes from many reasons. Some are named after favorite things like Pepsi, Cherry, or Bong for fun. Others have names that are combinations of their parents' names. For example, Joseph and Maria become Jamari creatively. But most of the time, names are chosen simply because they sound fun or appealing to the family. For many families, naming does not have to be formal. What matters is that the name is easy to remember, easy to pronounce, and gives a warm, close feeling that endures. In fact, some people are not even called by their legal names. A woman may be officially named Maria Concepcion, but all her friends, family, even her boss call her Baby affectionately. Many famous politicians in the Philippines also use their nicknames in public life, like the current president Bongbong Marcos or former vice president Leni Robredo, making politics relatable. This casual use of names and nicknames reflects the friendly and informal nature of Filipino culture, where relationships are key. But for foreigners, calling the boss Honey or getting an email from a business partner named Honey can be a bit confusing at first, yet charming. In the Philippines, being late is not just a habit, it is a cultural norm often called Philippine time, adding a relaxed vibe to plans. In social gatherings, family parties, and even work-related events, people often arrive at least 15 to 30 minutes later than the scheduled time, without stress. At birthdays, weddings, or festivals, guests almost never arrive exactly at the time on the invitation, allowing for flexibility. But instead of getting angry, Filipinos usually see this as completely normal. No one complains, as it's understood. This reflects the flexible attitude of the culture, where comfort and relaxation are often valued more than strict punctuality in social contexts. In fact, some hosts have learned to handle this by deliberately setting event times 30 minutes to 1 hour earlier than they actually plan to start. A clever trick. However, in recent years, the government and young people have started encouraging change through campaigns like One Time to promote punctuality, especially in professional work environments where time management is essential for progress. However, the time habits of Filipinos are still a unique part of their culture, which often surprises foreign travelers and becomes a lesson in patience and adaptability for those who choose to live or work in the Philippines. One of the things that often surprises and touches foreign visitors when they come to the Philippines is how people greet and address each other with warmth. When meeting elders, Filipino children usually take the elder's hand and gently press it to their forehead. This gesture is called pagmamano, showing deep respect, almost like a blessing and a thank you wrapped into one simple action that's heartwarming. Another fascinating feature is that Filipinos often call strangers affectionate terms like Kuya, meaning older brother, or Ate, meaning older sister, even if they have never met before, creating instant connections. When you ask for directions, order food, or enter a store, you might be called Kuya or Ate instead of Sir or Ma'am, fostering a welcoming atmosphere. This creates a warm and family-like feel, as if everyone belongs to one big family in the community. In conversations, Filipinos tend to avoid direct confrontation or strong arguments to maintain peace. Instead of saying no directly, they might reply gently, indirectly, or just smile and politely refuse, a subtle art. This reflects the cultural value of pakikisama, the desire to maintain harmony and keep relationships smooth and positive. Before smartphones and social media took over the world, the Philippines was known as the SMS texting capital of the world, a title that highlights communication prowess. During the 2002, when mobile phones first became popular, Filipinos quickly became the most texting people in the world, sending over 1 billion messages a day, a number higher than the total of the United States and Europe combined at the time. Why is that? Texting in the Philippines is very cheap, and many mobile plans offer unlimited SMS within the same network, making it an essential part of daily life for staying connected. Even today, when most people use apps like Messenger, Viber, or Telegram, texting remains a preferred way of communication for its simplicity. Filipinos text family, friends, colleagues, and often use messages instead of phone calls to save time. But if you are dating or just getting to know someone in the Philippines, don't expect constant replies. This country is also called the ghost capital in informal terms. You might exchange dozens of messages with someone at first, but then they disappear overnight without a word. No reply, no explanation, leaving mystery. This is especially common in new online relationships, confusing or disappointing many foreigners who seek clarity. In Filipino culture, seeing messages but not replying does not always mean offense. Sometimes it just means someone is tired, forgot, or does not want to say no directly. It's a gentle avoidance. It reflects the gentle, indirect communication style of Filipinos, a way to avoid confrontation, even if it can lead to misunderstandings for those used to a more direct culture. So, if you feel an instant connection through a string of messages and then a few days later they suddenly stop contacting you, congratulations, you have just experienced a very real part of the unique communication culture of the Philippines. When it comes to natural wonders, the Philippines has no shortage of stunningly beautiful places that captivate the imagination. One of the most unique and iconic landscapes of the country is the Chocolate Hills, located on Bohol Island. This area has more than 1,200 perfectly cone-shaped hills standing close together and stretching across a large area, creating an almost unreal view that's a UNESCO site contender. During the rainy season, the hills are covered with lush green grass, vibrant and alive. But when the dry season comes, the grass turns light brown, giving the entire landscape a rich chocolate color that looks delectable. The hills look like giant candies rising from the ground, and that is exactly why they are called the Chocolate Hills, a name that delights visitors. There are many legends about how these hills were formed. Some say two giants were throwing earth at each other in a battle, then left behind a strange battlefield. Another story tells of a god who mourned deeply for his lost love, and his tears formed the hills poetically. But in reality, the Chocolate Hills are a rare geological formation created over millions of years, as coral and ancient limestone slowly eroded by natural forces like rain and wind. Today, the Chocolate Hills are not only a main tourist spot, but also a proud symbol of Bohol and the entire Philippines, attracting hikers and photographers. Besides the famous Chocolate Hills that draw nature lovers, there is another remarkable treasure that amazes many visitors: the Baclayan Church. This is one of the oldest churches in the Philippines, built almost entirely from coral stone, a testament to ingenuity. Construction started in 1595 during the Spanish colonial period and finished in the early 18th century, standing as a historical landmark. The hills look like giant candies rising from the ground, and that is exactly why they are called the Chocolate Hills, a name that delights visitors. There are many legends about how these hills were formed. Some say two giants were throwing earth at each other in a battle, then left behind a strange battlefield. Another story tells of a god who mourned deeply for his lost love, and his tears formed the hills poetically. These details you won't find in churches across Europe or anywhere else, making it special. Thanks to this building technique, the church has lasted for centuries, still maintaining its beauty and structure despite storms, earthquakes, and the ravages of time, a symbol of faith. Inside, many original features remain intact, including a wooden altar with inlays, Baroque-style murals, and intricately carved columns and ceilings that inspire awe. Another fascinating detail is the ancient crypt below the church, used to bury priests, missionaries, and notable community figures for hundreds of years, adding even more historical depth to this already special place. This volcano is one of the most extraordinary natural wonders, not only in the Philippines but also in the world, drawing thrill seekers. Located about 60 kilometers south of Manila, Taal is often considered the smallest active volcano in the world. But what really makes it unique is its complex multi-layered structure that's mesmerizing. A volcano inside a lake inside another volcano that has another lake on top from above, Taal sits in the middle of a large body of water called Taal Lake. What many don't know is this lake lies inside the collapsed crater of a giant ancient supervolcano, a geological marvel. The current volcano looks like a small island in the lake, and on that island is another crater holding another lake. In other words, it is a volcano in a lake inside another volcano with another lake at the center, a rare formation. This rare geological structure is one of the few similar formations in the world, fascinating scientists. Taal remains active today, occasionally erupting clouds of ash and causing tremors in the surrounding area, reminding of its power. Despite its instability, the area around Taal Lake is still a popular tourist destination in 2025. Visitors can take a boat to the island, hike up to the crater, and witness the spectacular layered view with steaming vents. The contrast between the peaceful lake and the silent power of the volcano creates a magical, almost surreal experience that is both calming and thrilling, perfect for photos. Flooding has become a common event during the rainy season in the Philippines, but locals handle it with remarkable resilience. Just a few hours of heavy rain can turn streets into rivers, with water levels rising to knee height or even waist high in some areas, disrupting daily life. This happens almost every year, especially during the rainy season from June to November, and locals seem to have adapted to this as part of their daily life, preparing accordingly. The main reasons include heavy rainfall from typhoons, poorly developed drainage systems in growing cities, rapid urbanization, and waterways clogged with trash and illegal settlements along rivers and canals, exacerbating issues. But what surprises most visitors is not only the depth of the water, but also the calmness of the people here, who carry on. Even when the streets flood, children still move around on makeshift rafts with laughter, street vendors continue pushing their carts through water, and some even take the chance to go fishing right in the middle of the street for fun. Many believe the rising water is just part of the day they wait for the rain to pass, and then continue business as usual, showcasing adaptability. What makes this church truly unique is the material used to build it. The local people harvested coral from nearby seas, dried it, and used a mixture of egg whites and crushed seashells as mortar to bind the coral blocks together, creating durable structures. This created thick, cool, and very strong walls that have withstood time. If you look closely, you can actually see fossil coral patterns, seashells, and even shapes of ancient fish trapped in the stone, like a natural museum. The country sits right along the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most earthquake-prone areas in the world, with active faults. According to reports, the Philippines experiences more than 20 earthquakes daily, meaning the ground is almost never truly still, though most are imperceptible. Fortunately, most of these earthquakes are very small and can only be detected with special equipment, posing no threat. Only occasionally do stronger quakes occur, shaking buildings, moving furniture, or setting off alarms in major cities, prompting quick responses. Because the country has many active fault lines, cities, schools, and offices must follow strict earthquake preparedness procedures to ensure safety. Regular drills and evacuation plans are part of daily life, building readiness. In many schools, children are taught from a young age to recognize signs of earthquakes and how to respond safely, like drop, cover, hold. For travelers, hearing about more than 20 earthquakes per day can be worrying at first, but in reality, most visitors barely notice them, as they're minor. Seismic activity is just part of nature in the Philippines, but it does not stop your adventure, vacation, or cultural experience. Life goes on vibrantly. Despite the challenges from nature like quakes and floods, what truly wins the hearts of visitors to the Philippines is the people here, known for their warmth. One of the most impressive things for travelers is the genuine warmth and hospitality of the Filipino people, which makes you feel welcome instantly. Whether you get lost in a quiet neighborhood, eat alone at a small food stall, or simply walk into a corner store, there is almost always someone ready to smile, start a friendly conversation, or offer help without hesitation, embodying Bayanihan spirit. Unlike some busy tourist spots where friendliness can feel like just part of the service, in the Philippines, it's often completely natural and genuine, from the heart. Locals are curious and welcoming, and it is not unusual for a stranger to check on you, take you to your destination personally, or even invite you to their home for a meal without expecting anything in return, creating lasting memories. This is one reason many foreigners who have lived in the Philippines describe it as one of the easiest places in Asia to feel at home, like family. Another important reason visitors feel comfortable here is the language barrier is minimal. English is one of the 2 official languages of the country and is taught from elementary school through university, making communication effortless. This means you can easily communicate with taxi drivers, food vendors, children, and even the elderly without needing a translator, enhancing experiences. In fact, many Filipinos speak English with such a natural American accent that you might not even realize they are not native speakers due to historical ties. This high level of English has made the Philippines a global customer service hub and a top destination for international students wanting to learn English affordably. This is just one more reason that makes this country warm and memorable for travelers in 2025. If you visit the Philippines and suddenly hear Christmas music playing in supermarkets, cafes, or even on the street radio, you are not imagining it. The holiday spirit starts early. In the Philippines, the festive season begins in September and lasts until January, making it the longest Christmas celebration in the world, over 4 months of joy. For Filipinos, Christmas is not just a religious holiday, it is a season for family, sharing, and joyful reunions that bring communities together. People call this festive time the Burr months because all the months September, October, November, and December end with Burr, a fun mnemonic. As soon as September arrives, classic Christmas songs start playing on television and radio, filling the air with cheer. Shopping malls begin putting up towering Christmas trees, lighting up twinkling lights, and launching big holiday sales that attract crowds. Families start decorating their homes with colourful lights, hanging star-shaped lanterns called parol that symbolize hope, and preparing gift lists with excitement. The celebration reaches its peak in December with Simbang Gabi, a series of 9 dawn masses held in the days before Christmas, attended devotedly. Along with that are countless parties, family reunions, and cultural performances that light up the nights. Whether in the city or countryside, both the old and young join in the festive atmosphere that fills the country for many months, creating magical experiences. For foreign visitors, experiencing Christmas while it is still sunny and warm can be a culture shock, but that is also part of what makes Christmas in the Philippines memorable, joyful, sincere, and unlike anywhere else in the world, with beaches and carols mixing. If you think festivals in the Philippines are only about music, food, or religion, then maybe you have not yet felt the heat of a traditional beauty contest that captivates audiences. Among the traditional festivals held in every village, town, or district, beauty contests are often the most anticipated events, drawing enthusiastic crowds. And these are not just for performance in many places. Schools, offices, and even local government units may pause their activities so people can participate in or cheer for the contests, showing community involvement. Some communities go further by organising specific contests for different groups such as gay beauty queens, state beauty queens, Little Miss Philippines, or even senior beauty queens for older adults, celebrating diversity. Among these, the Gay Beauty Contest is especially popular and widely held, reflecting the surprising openness of this country to the LGBTQ+ community, something many foreigners do not expect from a traditionally Catholic nation, yet it's progressive. The Philippines really is an upside-down world full of surprises, isn't it? If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share it with friends so they can join the adventure too. What fact impressed you the most? Or is there another country you want to explore next? Let me know in the comments below and see you on the next discovery. This information is for reference only, so please research on your own before making any decisions.